Hello, everyone. Welcome again. Here we are today with Dara Lee. Some people might know him from Lanzarote. Great friend, musician, daddy of a beautiful boy, engaged now. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Dara is here with me today, and we are going to talk about diabetes. Okay, I know a bit about it. I know there's two types, but I'm gonna let Dara explain us more. Dara himself is facing this life, how is to plan everything. So today we're gonna talk about trips and about this. And Dara, tell us a bit about you yourself. What is it like to live with diabetes?
For me, so with diabetes, I was diagnosed at the age of 14. So quite young, but quite old enough to realize what was kind of going on. So I think it was a better time to be diagnosed. Um, so I've been living with diabetes since I'm 14. Um, as you said, there is two types of diabetes. There's type 1, which is where your pancreas will kind of just stop working and your insulin production kind of cuts off itself. So then we need to supplement it with insulin. So injections, or as I'm lucky enough now to be on the insulin pump, the Medtronic pump, which is kind of a constant supply of insulin 24 hours, and it kind of monitors, like between sensors and pumps, they kind of work together to nearly like an artificial pancreas, which is a lifesaver, a lot to kind of get your head around. And then you have type 2, which is, you know, it kind of tends to be for more older generation and maybe, a lack of, I don't want to say it's all based on diet and lifestyle, but lifestyle and your diet does play a big part in type 2. And you kind of see a lot of the older generation kind of getting type 2, and it can be maintained with tablets and good diet and exercise. So that's just kind of the diabetes in a nutshell. Everyone's like, "Oh, are you type 1 or type 2 or type A or type B?" Yeah, so I'm
Yes,
type 1.
every time a person with diabetes met another one, which one is your type? And then there's a full
Yeah,
conversation starting. I've seen this a few times,
yeah.
and it's the
Or
same. It's the same when a musician finds another musician, right? You are both in this case.
yeah,
uh,
it's like a lot of people ask you like, "Oh, are you the type of diabetic that needs sugar or can't have sugar?" And I always say like you need the perfect balance. But when you're diabetic, you need to have a balance of you need sugar and you need to be careful of how much sugar you have.
Exactly. And you were telling me you discover you found out exactly you were 14. So that's kind of that, teenager, many things changing in your hormones in your life. And also your family used to go to Lanzarote. That's where we met. So
Yeah.
that changed, like was that a big change from that moment? Okay, from now on I need to face this. What exactly changed when you start planning your trips from that moment on? Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so like before, like people who don't have diabetes or let's say doesn't have an underlying illness, kind of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna plan a trip, and they just they start thinking about where they want to go and how they're gonna get there, and that's it. You're spending money and you're ready to go. For me, like what changes, like there's so many things that'll go through your mind when you're traveling with the diabetes. So for me, like when I got diagnosed, I needed to have letters from my doctor to say Dara is a type 1 diabetic. He has insulin on him. He has glucometers, which are like electronic devices that will check your sugar levels. So like I would need to have, let's say, a bottle of Lucozade with me in case my sugar levels go low, while I'm going through the airport or when I'm in the airplane. So you need to have letters from doctors. All these things go through your head, like what if the security line is too long? And I've no access to sugar and my sugar levels go low, you start panicking. And like this was this big thing for me, was getting overwhelmed or like putting these like scenarios in my head of like, oh, what if I can't get my my sugar while I'm traveling, or what if I put all my insulin in one bag and the bag was missing? So there's like 101 things, 101
All the
scenarios that
fear.
come through the
But
fear.
normally for example, if you travel by plane, normally the air companies are quite sensitive to those kind of proceeds, or you face that sometimes some of them are like, man, you could actually do that easier. What do you feel? What's your experience?
Touch wood, like I haven't had any negative experience with with traveling with the diabetes. I always found like the security staff were kind of well aware of that there is going to be diabetics coming through with insulin pens. Um, Lately, because I've been transferred over to the pump with the diabetes, I can no longer go through the the electronic scanners where you have to put your hands out. So like with the pumps, like with the diabetic pumps, they're very sensitive to magnetic the scanners. So it can actually increase your insulin delivery. Like it overwrites the system with the mechanics. So we're advised not to go through them. We can kind of be patted down manually, or we can go through, let's say, just the standard walkthrough scanners but where it's the one where it kind of takes your picture, kind of nearly like an X-ray, we can't go through them. So then we need another letter from our doctor to say, look, this person is on a pump with type 1 diabetic, things like that. So these are all things that I need to have before I even get to the airport, you
And
know?
you always have the same letter because, for example, we know there's some kind of medicine or even machines that people use to transport, while they're flying. The letter is like this is valid for 6 months or this is valid for 1 year. What about your documentation? You have to renew them all the time, or you have one
No, so
letter and this.
it's just one letter that I can bring with me all the time. But my thing is like just try not to lose it. Try not to lose it when you're going through security or like leaving it behind. And let's say if you're in a hotel and you're like you unpack everything when you get on the holidays and you're enjoying your holidays and like when you're coming home from a holiday, I always find that like you're just I don't want to go home or I'm looking forward to going home. And then like everyone forgets things. Like if you forget your letter coming back. Now, I don't think there will be an issue, but in some countries they can be a bit stricter when it comes to, let's say, the security with the X-ray. So there's an extra added stress that you're like, oh, make sure I have it, make sure I have
Yeah,
it.
my passport, my
Um,
letter.
that's
And
it. Yeah,
you
my
touch
passport, my
it.
letter, my.
Yeah, and you touched another point which we were not talking about was the hotels. So
Mm,
because most of the medicine needs to be in certain temperatures, and sometimes there are hotels or apartments where there's only fridge or there's only some coolers. How do you manage that? Do
yeah.
you just try to get information before you just go and let's see how do you prepare that hotel part or accommodation?
Um, I suppose like in 99% of the accommodations that I'd stay in all have fridges. So when you're traveling with insulin, so like if the insulin's unused, so let's say you get an insulin pen, or from my case, I'd have the vials of insulin. So I'd keep the vials of insulin in the fridge until I open them. So the minute I open them, they're valid for 30 days and they don't need to be refrigerated. So they can stay at room temperature. But the problem then with the likes of, let's say, being in Lanzarote or being, out somewhere warm is the temperature. Or if you're going somewhere cold, if it's going to be too cold, then you need to keep it at room temperature. And room temperature is okay. And I know everyone's room is a bit different, but like give or take, let's say 18 to 21, 22 degrees is kind of okay for your insulin to be out once you've opened it. But an unopened insulin, you'd want to be making sure that number one, you've access to a fridge in your hotel or your accommodation that you're staying in.
Very good, Darren. I'm in the town. You can listen the church. I can listen to this. The
No, I
uh,
don't think it's coming true here.
that's good. That's good. At least, well, that's what happened when you are in the countryside.
Yeah.
I want to. Well, we are not going to stay here forever. I'm not going to talk for 2 hours, even though the topic is,
Go on, yeah.
rich enough to keep going. But what advice would you give, or what's your message for, people like that are now the age you were, like 14, 15, even 17, and they are
Mm.
realizing now, okay, like I have diabetes, my life is changing, I'm limited, I need insulin. What advice? Because, I know your life is totally normal. You need to be
Yeah,
careful, like I have, because I have allergy to lots of things,
yeah,
and we do our lives. But, sometimes when you are younger and you are scared, you have that fear. So what advice would you say, based on your personal experience, what would you say to
yeah.
that?
I think for me, like as a kid, like I think I was at the rebellious age when I was 14. When I got diagnosed first, I was like, all my friends were around me, like, oh my God, you've diabetes. Like, yeah, that's nothing. I've diabetes. What about it? Like, and I had this kind of like macho man kind of stance towards them. Like, oh, look, I just have to inject myself. And I think it kind of stood to me in some ways, where I didn't leave it stop me from going anywhere or doing anything. Um, and I'd always say, like, just know your own illness, like, or your condition, like with the diabetes. You know how to look after your diabetes. Don't leave it stop. You're like, don't leave it stop what you want to do. Like if you want to travel, travel. Like I've traveled extensively with the diabetes, and I've never had any issues going through airports with accommodation. Like I've even had situations where I've had insulin pen break while I'm abroad. I always had spare. There's been times where I had to go to a pharmacy in a foreign country. Let's say if my glucometer stopped working, I was always able to get something. So like there's resolutions and there's solutions to every problem that arise. But I just say like don't leave the diabetes stop you living a normal life, because although we are different and we do struggle with the illness itself, or more maybe a condition. No, I don't know. Some people call it an illness, some people call it a condition. Like, just don't leave it. I suppose turn you off doing the things you love. Just prepare yourself for what you need. Always have spare, medication. Always have your sugar with you, just in case something went wrong, you had a hypo, you were able to treat it. Once you had it, you're no different to me, anyone else. You can travel the world and still have the best of time. We just need that extra step of precaution and kind of organization before making any trip. So just go do it. Like traveling is probably one of my favorite things to do in the world. And I love it. Like I've traveled all around Europe, as a musician and just as a tourist myself. Um, and I just never let it stop me. As I said, I always took the steps to prepare. And once you have your steps to prepare, that kind of anxiety feeling of like, oh my God, what if this, what if that happens? That kind of does just disappear, because like, okay, if it does happen, then I have spare. I have this, I have that, I have medical insurance, I have this. So don't leave it stop you and just enjoy it. Like you only get one life and
And
just
now, just
live it.
for, because people probably are listening and thinking, oh, yeah, it's easy to talk, but tell us, share with me, like, one of the best trips you did, something that you really enjoyed and why. And, and that's nothing to do, with diabetes
Yeah.
or insulin or nothing.
Oh, that's a tough one, because I loved, like, everywhere I've traveled, I've always had like really nice experiences, and like things that would like when I was a bit younger, I would have thought like, oh sure, I'll never be able to do that because I'm a diabetic. Like, because then what if happens if my sugar levels dropped or things like that? Where like I suppose some of my favorite experiences is to do with the animals. Like me and my animals. Like I'm obsessed with reptiles and exotic animals. So like I've done scuba diving, like I've done, free diving and like snorkeling and snorkel with sharks, stingrays, octopus. Like I've caught snakes in the wild. I've caught you know lizards in the wild, and there's just if I let the diabetes control that, I would have never got on the plane in the first place. So I suppose going back to the question, what was my favorite experience about traveling? Oof. I suppose being in the position where I was, that I got to travel to Lanzarote and be a musician over there for a few years, and you know there was moments in my life where I was like, oh, it's not going to be a good idea for me to go, you know, abroad with the diabetes for so long, because like, what if I didn't have a doctor over there, or I didn't have my, medication prescribed over there, but like there was workarounds for all this. So like I managed to get 6 months supply every time. So like I was lucky that I was close enough to home that I could fly back every 6 months, stock up, come back, you know. Um, but yeah, I think it's hard to kind of pinpoint an exact, favorite moment. Like,
That's good. That's good. I'm sorry, I just got the. Can you listen someone else behind me? No.
yeah, I can, yeah,
Okay, this is weird
yeah.
though. This is like because we are not professionals. That's why this
Ah,
happened, but it's fine.
these things happen.
Okay. So as a travel consultant, and this is an advice for me, okay? Next time that someone says to me, I want to plan a trip, but I'm diabetic, what do you think I should, keep in mind and not forget just to, give them the best experience ever?
Um, I suppose just location, like people, if you're doing sorry, I got notifications jumping up my phone. So if someone's looking to travel and they're like, oh, I've diabetes, like I wouldn't really like, I'd advise them just to make sure that they have, as I said, like, right, prepare your medication, prepare excess in case something happens to the ones you have. So like always have spare of your medication, and um yeah, just enjoy it, don't leave it kind of stop you like.
To close that door, family is the worst. I love
that,
them though. But I was
uh,
listening to you. I was listening to you.
yeah, no, so I was just like, just make sure, as I said, like preparation is key when you're traveling with diabetes. And I suppose you're always going to be contemplating about food. Like food is a huge thing with diabetes, and you want to make sure that there's going to be access to the food, and I suppose sugar. And I know like 99% of the time you're going to travel, there's obviously going to be somewhere you can get food. And this goes back to something that like I want to travel to, like very remote parts of the world with animals. Like I really want to go do like an expedition in like the Amazon jungle or like in Thailand. And my biggest fear is, what if I go into a hypo while I'm out in in the jungle, and I'm 3 days up a river, on a kayak. Um, but when you break it down into smaller steps, you can realize, like when you look at the bigger picture, you're like, oh my God, I'm up a river, 3 days up a river, and I've no food. Or I'm 3 days up a river, like what happened? What if I go into a hypo? That's terrifying, and that used to turn me off wanting to travel to remote parts of the world. When you break down the smaller steps, right? I have my medication. I know how to treat my hypos. I know how to prevent my hypos. I know how to manage my condition. Why is it jumping straight to the worst? So like, and even if you are in the remote parts of the world, I guarantee you're going to find a little shop that will have a bottle of Coke, that will have a Mars bar, that might have some local chocolate, local sugar. There's loads. Like I've watched videos of people going out doing expeditions, and like they're eating fruit, like wild fruit, like that's full of sugar, surrounded by the right people. So when you break it down like this, it kind of makes it a bit easier to go, actually, do you know what? I can actually travel. I can go to remote parts of the world and be a diabetic. Just need to take a small bit extra steps, a lot more kind of organizing, but it's not gonna stop you from doing it.
Thank you, Dara. Thank you so much because I love your view, and I was really happy when I spoke with you the other day and you said, "Yeah, we definitely do this," because
Yeah,
it's like life itself. No, sometimes the bigger picture we just need to break it in small parts and face them, and whatever challenge, whatever is in front of you, that's the
100%.
the rule in life. And thank you so much
Yeah.
for your vision and your point of view in this. I think that's very, very good lesson and very important. I
No
don't know
worries, all. Thank you for your time.
if you want to, if you could change something in the travel or in the world that could make an easier life for diabetic people, what would that be? Just for us to finish here.
Um, I suppose for me, and I suppose the only kind of downside of the traveling that I'd have is like when I do come to the airport and I'm going through security and I do have a bottle of Lucozade, like a lot of the times they ask me to throw it out, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm a diabetic. Here's my thing," and they're like, "Oh no, look, you're gonna have to buy one inside," which is not a real big problem because like it's €2 or €3, but I'm just like, oh, I have that Lucozade. Like I know in some countries they don't have Lucozade, and for me, Lucozade is like my kind of safety line. It kind of the sugar goes into you pretty quick and helps you kind of get out of a hypo. Um, I suppose if airports were able to just take a bit of like if they know that is a diabetic coming through, just leave them take the bottle of Lucozade. It's not even 500. I don't even know if it's 500 mils. Hang on, I have a bottle of Lucozade here. It's I think it's
33,
yeah,
35.
380 mils of Lucozade. Like I've been through airports sometimes when I have what Luke said, and they're like, "Yeah, you can bring it in, but we just need to scan it." And then it's going through a scanner, and they're swabbing it, and you're just like, by the time you get done that, I could just walk through and just get a bottle of Luke's in the airport. But I know, like, if the queues are long, so like the likes of Lanzarote, like if you're in a queue for quite some time, like, and if let's say if you're a solo traveler, like if you leave the queue, you're back to the end of the queue. So like even if there is a shop just nearby, if you leave the queue, you're kind of back to the end. So like if
Exactly.
they just allowed us to bring a bottle of Lucozade, if they saw a bottle of Lucozade and it's a diabetic with a letter, just kind of leave them through. That's it really.
That would be okay. We give our notification here to the universe.
Yeah.
Maybe we can change
Yeah.
it in the
Maybe
near
get it back.
future. Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
Dara, once again, thank you so much.
Exactly.
Share with us your Instagram so people can check your animals and all that stuff, or your
Yeah. So
music you have too. So share
yeah,
them
I had
both. I'm gonna
multiple
tag you.
yeah, multiple Instagram. So the animal page is Dara underscore exotics, and then the music is Dara underscore music 11. And I do share posts about diabetes on the music page, often enough, and on the animal page is just show animals. No
Animations.
diabetic animals yet. Yeah.
Okay, Dara, once again, thank you so much. I'm your fan. You know that I love the way you sing. I love the passion you put in your, everything you do. And I'm blessed to have you in my life and everything that I learned with you. So thank you. And
Thank you very much for having me.
congratulations once again on your engagement. And hopefully, are you going to be in Christmas, in Lanzarote around
I
Christmas?
don't think so. Nah, we just bought a house, so we
Oh,
just bought a house here in Ireland, so we
congratulations
are
again.
busy with that. So maybe if we're lucky, we might get out in January for a weekend. We'll see if we can sneak away while the house is being done. But it's an expensive process, but Lanzarote well, it has my heart, so we'll
Yes.
be back at some stage sooner rather than later.
Yes, maybe I'll go see you in Ireland before. You never know.
You never know what you, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Dara. Big
Thank you.
kiss. Thank
Take
you.
care.